Hormone therapy. You know, for so many of us, those two words alone can bring up a lot of feelings. Confusion, maybe even a little bit of fear. For decades, there's been this cloud hanging over the whole topic, especially when it comes to women's health. But what if? What if that fear is all based on a huge misunderstanding? What if the conversation we've all been having is just wrong?
So let's just dive right into this with a pretty powerful idea. What if the hormones you've been warned about for years are not at all the same as the ones your body actually uses, the ones that could really help you? It's a classic case of comparing apples and oranges, and today we're going to sort out the whole fruit basket.
I'm an apple.
I'm a banana.
I'm an orange. We are grapes. We are fruity, and we are great.
To really get why this is so important, we have to go back and look at where all this fear and confusion even started. And it pretty much all traces back to one single major event.
Okay, so back in the early 2000s, this massive study called the Women's Health Initiative, the WHI, released its first findings, and it caused an absolute earthquake in the medical world. The headlines were terrifying, linking hormone therapy to all these serious health risks. And the result? A sudden, massive, global drop in its use that honestly continues to this day. Doctors just stopped prescribing it, and patients were, understandably, scared to death of it.
But here's where the story gets really interesting. It's when we look a lot closer at the exact hormones they used in that famous study, and we start to ask a really crucial question.
The entire controversy, all the fear, it all hinges on this one simple point. Are we really comparing the same things when we talk about hormone therapy? Or have we been mixing up apples and oranges this whole time?
And here it is. This is the heart of the mix-up. On one side, you have bioidentical progesterone. Its molecular structure is a perfect match for what your own body makes. It's like the key that was designed for the lock. But on the other side, you've got synthetic progestins, and these are the ones used in that big WHI study. They're chemically altered. They are not identical to human hormones, and because of that, they act totally differently inside your body. That single difference is the key to everything.
And that molecular difference, it's not just some small, nerdy science detail. It has huge, real-world consequences for your health.
I mean, when you actually look at the research, synthetic progestins are linked to a whole laundry list of negative side effects. You know, everything from bloating and weight gain to much more serious issues like cardiovascular disease and even dementia. And here's the most important part. These are problems that the research shows are just not linked to bioidentical progesterone.
So let's just look at the hard data on breast cancer risk. A relative risk of 1.0, that's the baseline. It means no increased risk whatsoever. And as you can see, long-term studies show bioidentical micronized progesterone sits right there at 1.0, neutral. But now look at the synthetics. Provera is at 1.7 and noradrone is at 2.1. That means a 70% to over 100% increased risk. The numbers just don't lie. They're not the same thing, not even close.
But wait, because the story doesn't stop with just avoiding risks. In fact, this is where it gets truly fascinating. It turns out bioidentical progesterone might be doing way more than just being a safer choice.
Yeah, some of the most compelling research out there suggests that bioidentical progesterone might actually do the complete opposite of what so many people have been taught to fear.
Okay, check this out. Researchers in one study were looking at something called breast cell proliferation, which is basically a key marker for cancer risk. They found that a synthetic progestin made this risky cell growth go way up. But then, when they added bioidentical micronized progesterone to the mix, that harmful effect was completely canceled out. So get this, it didn't just avoid causing harm, it actively reversed the harm the synthetic was causing. It was actually protective.
So, after all this information, what's the big takeaway for you? How can you actually use this to take charge of your own health conversation?
Well, it really boils down to this. First, know the difference. Say it with me. Progesterone and progestin are not the same. Second, when you talk with your doctor, you have to ask specifically, what type of hormone are we talking about here? And finally, use this knowledge to become a partner in your own healthcare. The goal is to go from being a passive patient to being an active, informed advocate for your own well-being.
So, the big question I want to leave you with is, are you asking the right questions? Because the difference between a synthetic progestin and bioidentical progesterone isn't some small detail, it's everything.
If you're interested in exploring more of these incredible connections from hormone optimization to metabolic psychiatry and regenerative medicine, be sure to subscribe and follow for more explainers just like this one.
Thanks so much for watching this Within You Health production.